Good morning, all. Camelback Trading 2724 coming to you this Thursday morning, May 28th. We're looking at the last 2 days of the market profile of the SPY TFE on Window Trader. And once again, the bulls are continuing what they did yesterday afternoon. Remember, we had an outside day up, which is very positive. And right now, with just over an hour to go prior to the opening, they're looking to gap higher again. Right? Again, we've had a lot of gaps lately. To me, that's mindless trading, but we have to trade what's in front of us. These last 2 days haven't been the easiest to read. And before I get started, I just want to touch on that. I've had a bunch of traders email me, private message me, saying their confidence has been taken back a little bit by these last 2 days, and that's totally understandable. Right? We talked about this. We had a huge gap up on Tuesday, only to never see the opening again and go out with a price probe to the downside. And then yesterday, looks like we get into the gap, might have an outside day down, only to have an outside day up and go out with a price probe to the upside. Price is not the thing to follow. Okay, it's price, time, and value. Price is just an advertisement. Price goes where it wants at times. Okay, you can't fight it. If you're not sure, you watch it, okay? Yes, it was a perfect example. I know I'm saying it again, but it needs to be repeated. Once we took out B's high, I said something had changed, even though we hadn't even gotten close to the opening. And, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, something changed. We one time framed up all afternoon. But I said that as soon as we took out B's high. Did I know we were going to do this? No. But I did know something had changed, and I just watched it. It is not harmful to be neutral at all. Confidence is the key in this game. If you lose it, it's the most important thing you can lose. Okay, more important than your mental reserve or even capital reserve, because you're going to lose both of those if you don't have confidence. Not cockiness, confidence. So I wouldn't be too alarmed if you had trouble reading the last 2 days, because they weren't the easiest to read. Okay, as far as today goes, let's go over destinations and then a game plan. We have 2 days left in the month. Right now, since there's still an hour to go prior to the opening, we're going to use yesterday's high on both sides of the equation. So 303.57 is yesterday's high. Then we have 304.18, which is the afternoon rally high from March 5th. Right now, our pre-market high is 305.38. And then we have 308.47, a daily high. So there's pretty much a vacuum to the upside, which we've talked about. For the downside, if we gap higher, we'll use yesterday's high of 303.57. Then we have the pre-market low right now of 303.15. Yesterday's price probe at 302.22. Afternoon pullback low of 295.45. And then yesterday's low of 296.87 and filling the gap at 295.63. So game plan for this morning. Okay, well, it is early. Still just about an hour. If we gap higher, it's a reasonable gap right now. We're talking anywhere between 50 cents and $1. That I'll use as gap rules apply. So if we were to open, not fill the gap right away, come in a little bit, taper off, then you could certainly take a call position. You're going to have higher value, and you're going to have the gap to lean on. If the gap gets filled, I'd get out. Does that mean the market's bad? Absolutely not. However, between M's high and the price probe, you got a pretty big difference there, right? M's high is 303.57. The price probe is 302.22. That's $1.35 worth of heat. Now, you can continue to be long. You can have higher value, but it depends on what kind of heat you want to take. For my money's worth, if the gap fills, I'd get out of the trade, and then we see, right? We always talk about how M period is useless on the day of, and it is. But the next day becomes a very valid and very visual point. So if you get accepted into M's range yesterday, then we're going to see if we trade down and get to the price probe. If you only take half of this back and taper off, well, then you can take another long position. And then where's your out? Then your out's at the price probe if that gets filled. You're still going to have higher value, at least to begin the day. So those are two call plays. The gap out if it fills, back into M if it tapers, doesn't take out A's low, or get accepted below A, out if that does get accepted into. Put play? I don't have one right now. Because even if this gap fills, do I want to short it here? No, you still have the price probe. So early on, there is no put play. There's pretty much a vacuum and a void to the upside. Doesn't matter what you think or what I think of this market. That has to be thrown out the window and trade what market-generated information tells us and what is in front of us. And again, if you're in my trading room, camelbacktrading.org, on the Discord channel, you get up-to-the-date minutes right at the opening and then basically a play-by-play throughout the day as the market is unfolding. So come check us out. All right, let's go to the charts. Two days to go in the month. Inside month up, very positive. Above the trend line, very positive. Overall, in balance. Weekly. Again, up. The gap was filled, but it's up. We're starting to get distance. Remember, I always talk about how distance is the key. Right? We had a 3-week balance here. We had a possible triple top. We got above it last week, but closed back into it. And this week, here we go again to the upside. So we're getting distance away from last week and these 3 weeks. And the important thing is, remember, the 287 level, as key as it is for me, once we got above it, then the 302.50 level became the next barrier to get over before we just exploded for the entire, for October of 19 to February of 20. 5 months. Well, if you get above that, there's really not much up until the next weekly high, and then that huge gap at some point. So the bulls have the ball in their hands. They could run with it all they want. Nothing really to stop them. And then the daily, same thing we're going to look at. We had an outside day up, which is positive. Right now we're getting the follow through as we're looking to gap higher. We're above the 5-day balance. We're above this whole balance. Again, we're above the 200-day moving average. They have clear skies ahead of them. It's up to them to take it. Bears are back on their heels. Good luck trading today. Have a great day, and we'll recap the day at 4 p.m.